What are you known for? And does what you are known for line up with what you say you believe? I'm Pastor Andrew. This is 5 minutes of fire, and we're gonna talk about legacy. Let's do it. In just the past week, we've been able to celebrate a legendary legacy. The legacy of one Chadwick Boseman, aka the Black Panther. Check out this clip from Marvel's tribute to Chadwick that was released last Sunday.
It's fun to watch just what it means to people. At times, in my head, I'll be like, well, what does this do for the world? Like, actually, what is it? You know, is it actually valuable in this climate? And I have to say, yes, it actually is. Not because it makes people escape. I think when done right, it gives people hope. I found that it means a lot.
That's a good legacy. Truly a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of hope for so many people. But what's the ideal legacy for a follower of Jesus? Many people would wrongly say to be a good person, or I'm gonna be perfect. Both of those answers are like 0 to maybe 25% true. You see, if perfection is the primary goal, people from the outside looking in will eventually see that we're not perfect. And eventually they conclude that we are hypocrites. If you were to poll the non-Christian populace about why they don't follow Jesus, it's because Christians are so judgmental or they're so hypocritical. Their perception of us is their reality. If you don't believe that's true, just Google search "why are Christians" and you'll see the answers. It's not pretty, but that perception is a misconception that's been built up over time. And for the most part, Christians and Christendom at large are responsible for that misconception being built, and it needs to be completely obliterated. You see, Christians aren't defined primarily by their nearness to perfection. It's actually the moment when we become self-aware of our imperfections that we are ready to put our faith in a perfect God. This is the free gift. Christians aren't supposed to live a life trying to prove that they're good enough, but instead to admit that they're not good enough and receive God's grace and forgiveness that we do not deserve. Then, once we begin to understand how amazing this free gift of grace is, there should be an explosion of gratitude, a natural reaction that results in a commitment to live a life defined by the values that reflect the goodness of our God. So, as Christians, do we pursue perfection? Yeah, but not as if we can ever achieve it in this life. We simply want to live a life that reflects the goodness of our God to a world that is broken just like us. And then, when we mess up, which we will, that should cause us to fall on our knees anew in thankfulness for the grace that covers all of our past, present, and inevitable future sins. I love the way Paul paints a picture of a Christian legacy. Colossians 3:17 says, "Let every detail in your life, words and actions, be done in the name of the Master Jesus." You read more of that chapter in chapter 3, and it talks about a legacy of patience and forgiveness and love, unity, peace, and thankfulness. Maybe one day people will see those words when they Google about Christians. Let me wrap this up with something Jesus' brother James once said. Honestly, one of the most intense verses in the Bible for me. James chapter 2, verses 14 to 17. James asks this question. He says, "What good is it if you say you have faith but don't prove it or demonstrate it with your actions?" So James is saying that faith that doesn't involve actions is just phony. But you gotta keep faith and actions in order. We are not saved by what we do, but what we do shows the world that we're saved. And what we do might just be what God uses to save someone else. Something that will last longer than our lives, longer than this world, on into eternity, are the people that know Jesus as their Lord and Savior because you and I made him known. Fun fact, Chadwick Boseman was a follower of Jesus. He actually was very involved in his youth group. He publicly said that getting the Black Panther role was an answer to prayer. That's an inspiring legacy, but what will you be known for? Alright guys, that wraps it up for this episode of 5 Minutes of Fire. Can't wait to gather back together on September 16th. Catch you later.